There's no way that Ohio State won't win the national championship against Notre Dame, right? Let's take our first serious look. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked on Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked on Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. And hit that subscribe button. It's free while you're watching. Today's episode is brought to you by GameTime. And, of course, download the GameTime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Ohio State versus Notre Dame, the national championship, 1 week from today. Can't wait. Early predictions and some analysis right here, plus our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. So how many of you felt on Friday night the college football national championship was actually won Friday? The winner of Ohio State, Texas, was going to go on and win the whole thing. I did. I think both teams were better than Notre Dame, which just got by Penn State. Penn State or Notre Dame, either way, I thought Texas and Ohio State were the better two teams out of the whole bunch. And I think really we were playing for the national championship on Friday. We'll see. We got a lot of time to break this thing down. So the Ohio State, Notre Dame national championship game right now feels like the Buckeyes are going to win. It's going to be a bit of a blowout, I think. Buckeyes are the better football team. Buckeyes are the more talented team. Right now, the Buckeyes seem like the more motivated team. By the way, Vegas agrees with me right now. The Buckeyes are the favored team, currently 8.5 points. 8.5 points in Vegas terms, those are big boy numbers. They think there's a potential for this one to get away and be a multiple score win in reality. Look, Ohio State, they were good all year, but they figured something out. They dialed something up a notch in that bye week following the season-ending loss to Michigan. That's when Penn State jumped over them and then went and grabbed a spot against Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. Meanwhile, Ryan Day and the Buckeyes were getting to work figuring something out. And I still stand by the fact that Ohio State is way more diversified on offense than Notre Dame. And I think that'll be the key to this football game. And, both teams have a pretty steady defense, although the Buckeyes are playing at an elite level on defense at all three levels, the linebackers, and the secondary right now. More on that in just a moment as well. But, we all saw that eliteness reach a whole peak level against Texas. Texas was threatening to tie that game on Friday night. It was a good game. Texas is a good team. All right. Ohio State wasn't going to go in there and blow them out like they did the Volunteers or anything, even Oregon like that. That wasn't going to happen. This Texas team, they've been in the Final Four 2 years in a row. Steve Sarkisian, he's got the program rolling. This wasn't going to be a layup. Still thought the Buckeyes were going to win, and they did. But anyway, they were threatening to tie the game, and they got all the way down to the 1 yard line. It was starting to get late. Buckeyes were up by a touchdown. And then the back-to-back pass interference calls in the end zone, put the ball to 2, then the ball to 1, first and goal. I mean, they had the Buckeyes on the backs of their heels there for a minute. So, in fact, I think at that point, if you want to give an honest assessment of yourself as a Buckeye fan or anybody watching that game, you're thinking, okay, looks like Texas is going to probably tie this game up here, but there's still plenty of time left, and we got our timeouts going down, game-winning field goal, game-winning touchdown, whatever. It wasn't like panic mode, but it looked like that game was going to take a different turn right then and there, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. Surely you're thinking, all right, that's how we'll salvage the game. All right, we'll make something happen in the last 3 minutes. Salvage the game, forget it. How about win the game outright? So Jarrett Gibson gets stuffed, no gain at the 1. Quintrevion Wisner tried the stretch run to the left. It was the defense that did the stretching for the Buckeyes. He lost 7 yards on that play. Quinn Ewers threw an incomplete pass with 2:29 to go. And now all of a sudden the table is set. It was 4th and goal. Game on the line. Quinn Ewers goes back to throw, strip sack by the Buckeyes, Jack Sawyer. Sawyer recovers the ball, turns around, goes 83 yards for a touchdown, puts the Buckeyes up by 2 TDs, 28-14. That game was over. Right there, one of the most pivotal points you'll ever see in any big game. And, of course, Caleb Downs ended up picking off the pass later, and that was it. And the Buckeyes were on their way to a national championship game against Notre Dame a week from tonight. So, and all this came within 24 hours of Notre Dame getting that last-second field goal with 7 seconds to go to get by Penn State to earn their spot in the national championship game as well. In addition to Notre Dame's defense, on offense, they got quarterback Riley Leonard. He's not a great passer. He's a good passer, but not a great passer. He's a great runner, but he's a good runner, but not a great runner. So there's a theme here. He's not great at any one thing, but he does both the running and the passing just well enough to put it together to kind of be a threat and keep defenses on their toes a little bit. Now, make no mistake about this. Notre Dame is a quarterback run first offense, but they also have Jeremiah Love as a legitimate running back there that can really hurt defenses. He's really good, and he's been nursing a bad knee. It doesn't look like it though, from what I saw in their game against Penn State. So, and Notre Dame will throw a little bit to their tight ends, but they don't have like a game-changing breakaway wide receiver that you have to worry about. Ohio State, on the other hand, does. They have several. In fact, after 2 blistering playoff games by freshman sensation Jeremiah Smith. By the way, did you see how Texas put all their eggs in that basket to shut him down? Yeah, and they were successful. He only had 1 catch for 3 yards. But then if you put all your eggs in that basket, then you got Emeka Egbuka. Then you've got Carnell Tate, who stepped up. What a game he had last week. 7 catches, 87 yards. Will Howard could throw to his backs out of the backfield, like when Travion Henderson just went 75 yards for a touchdown. That's a thing. That wasn't a fluke. That can happen. He's had big plays before like that. There's just too many weapons for the Buckeyes for Notre Dame to deal with. And I absolutely think that 8.5 points that the Buckeyes are favored, that's absolutely justified right now. That's not crazy. I wasn't shocked at all when I saw that. A lot of people were. So in other news going into this game, remember Notre Dame, their left tackle, and Anthony Knapp going to be out for the game. High ankle sprain, suffered that in the Penn State game on Thursday. Grad senior Tosh Baker replaced him there. Starting right guard, Rocco Spindler. Remember, he got hurt, suffered an ankle sprain against Penn State. He's going to try and go. He's going to try and practice this week, get himself ready for that game. It'll be tough, but he's going to give it a go and work his way back into the lineup for this one. And the Buckeyes corner, Denzel Burke, he sat out the second half versus Texas, upper extremity injury. He'll be ready by Monday night's game. So it's kind of an early injury update with some key players going into this game on Monday night. Love to hear from you. Love to hear some excitement from Buckeye fans who are ready to go. Hit us up with the comments on YouTube. Maybe a little friendly trash talk against Notre Dame. I know I'm going to hear it from Notre Dame fan. The fact that I even indicated, never mind that Vegas has Notre Dame as an 8.5-point favorite. Never mind, I just laid out some actual facts and analysis about this game. Notre Dame fans they watch, and we're glad that they do. They're welcome aboard. They're going to be in the Big Ten someday. They don't like hearing that, but they let me have it. So let's get some back and forth going with that in the comment section on YouTube. That would be great. Programming note, I know it's a week away. In addition, we'll do our daily podcast here at Locked On Big Ten, but next Monday night, a week from tonight, we're going to go live one more time. We always go live after the big games. And since the Big Ten team is in the national championship, Ohio State, as soon as that game's final, we'll go live for your immediate reaction. So mark your calendars now. Know that Locked On Big Ten will go live right after. We wait for the final whistle. We wait for the final interview, with Ryan Day, if he's the winner, and all the confetti's coming down, and then we go. We'll go live and get your reaction as well. And hopefully the Buckeyes win that game. So we'll love your comments in the meantime, back and forth. Hey, be sure to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button for free if you don't mind. You can follow Locked On Big Ten for free wherever you get your podcast. That way you get the latest episode of the podcast as soon as it becomes available each and every day. Also, share, follow, and like. That really helps us out. And don't forget to check out our website, talkbig10.com, where all of our podcasts go. Plus, you can buy your favorite team's school merchandise right there, talkbig10.com. All right, as we continue to roll, we got some other been keeping an eye on the transfer portal news over the weekend. Some interesting things to get you caught up on. I'll be glad to do all of that. And we'll have our top 10 observations from the Big Ten this weekend. All that coming up in a minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. A message now from TurboTax. Intuit TurboTax. I've used these guys for like 20 years. Nobody likes doing taxes. They do it. They make it easy, very organized. TurboTax, Intuit TurboTax. That time's coming up, and so you don't have to do the endless waiting and wandering and worrying about your taxes. They get right into it with you, and they don't need to be complicated and stressful. TurboTax is here to change the game by matching you and a TurboTax expert. They ask you a couple of questions, then they match you with the right expert that handles your kind of thing, if you will. So no more wondering if you're missing out on deductions. And they're always teaching me, oh, you get a deduction for that. I wouldn't have known that on my own, would have missed it. So check all that. You can focus on what matters there. You don't have to lift a finger and get peace of mind knowing that your taxes are handled by the pros. Stress-free taxes and the most money back guaranteed. Head on over to TurboTax.com today and get matched with your expert who's ready to take your taxes off your plate so you can focus on your day. Only available with TurboTax live full service, real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Thanks for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially you everydayers. Thank you. Meanwhile, be sure to hit that subscribe button there down below. Share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day, and check out our website, talkbig10.com. All right. First of all, I need to tell you about this. A former Notre Dame quarterback. Remember Malik Zaire? You might not remember him. He did 3 years at Notre Dame and then a year at Florida. Didn't play a lot, but did play. And I took a shot at Ohio State on Twitter. He says, of all the great quarterbacks Ohio State has had the last 15 years, Will Howard is definitely the worst one by far. And Ohio State fans are trying to convince me he's going to lead them to a championship? ? I'd even take offensive guard Jalen Marshall at quarterback before Howard, unquote. Obviously a ridiculous statement. And look, if Joe Montana had said that, okay, all right, there's an opinion. Malik Zaire? Come on. Just for fun, I looked up his stats. In 4 years, or 3 years at Notre Dame, 1 year at Florida, he completed 58% of his passes, 6 career touchdowns, 1 interception. Oh, in 4 years, he rushed for 2 more touchdowns. But he's got a platform, and he thinks Will Howard's horrible. So be it. He's wrong. Some more bad news for Penn State following their tough loss to Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. Corner Cam Miller is heading the transfer portal. This year he had 27 tackles, a tackle for loss, a sack, 5 pass breakups. Meanwhile, the Nittany Lions will be acquiring Alabama transfer safety King Mack. So good news. You lose one, you gain one. He was once a 4-star recruit that Penn State was very interested in back in 2023, back in the day. So now he's coming. He's coming. Former Michigan quarterback Alex Orji, who's been in the transfer portal, he has landed at UNLV. Orji started 3 games at Michigan this year. He played in 20 career games for the Wolverines in spot duty. He'll have 2 years of eligibility left. His MO is he can run, but has trouble with the passing game, although a strong, huge, fast athlete. During his career, he accounted for 7 touchdowns, played in 11 games this year. Started 3, but he played in 11. Don't forget, hey, former Gators coach and ESPN analyst Dan Mullen. He's the new head coach at UNLV that's bringing in Alex Orji. Minnesota Golden Gophers defensive coordinator Corey Heatherman. He is leaving PJ Fleck's staff. And he's going to be joining the Miami Hurricanes as the defensive coordinator. Gophers went 8-5 this year and closed the season with a win in the Duke's Mayo Bowl over Virginia Tech. The Hurricanes fired defensive coordinator Lance Guidry after their very porous defense was the root of most of their problems this year. It cost quarterback Cam Ward and the Canes' high-flying offense a chance to get into the playoffs. if they had any defense at all, they would have been a playoff team. Any, I mean, they blow 3 touchdown leads like that's part of the game plan. All right, we're gonna get up by 21. We're gonna give up 28, and then we're gonna fight back and win the game. That was basically their MO. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit. That was pretty bad. So they need to shore up that defense there in Miami. USC Trojans, they landed an offensive lineman in the portal. They've been working on that lately. Syracuse's Gianre Reed is coming west. They recently got DJ Wingfield from Purdue as well. Now they need to replenish that offensive line because they only have 2 starters up front coming back. And they have a new offensive line coach in Zach Hansen. He was promoted up from tight ends coach. Their former O-line coach, Josh Henson, is now the offensive coordinator at Purdue. The Maryland Terps with some interesting news. There's a lot of back and forth with the Terps. They've seen 21 players hit the transfer portal. Mike Loxley even inquired about the Jets coaching job, right? But they may have some good news. They've got 9 players in. They might get a 10th in the portal. Central Connecticut State, offensive tackle, Retriel Perry. Now, while Central Connecticut State is not a big school, Perry is a big player. 6'7", 323 pounds, but he's got other people interested in him as well. Ohio State, Florida State, Boston College, Syracuse. So it's not going to be it's not free pickings for Maryland, but there is some mutual interest there. He's currently the number 2 tackle available in the portal. And the Terps recently landed O-lineman Javen James from Akron as well. So they're trying to get things built up there. All right. I would love you to continue with the comments. Keep hitting us up here. You know, if you're new to this podcast, new in 2025, we'll always close out with a fun feature for you. That's what sets us apart from other podcasts. And we always have on Mondays my top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. It's going to be a lot of football. It was a long weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Tuesday, we do Tuesday tweets. Wednesdays, we do power rankings. Thursdays, we look ahead to the weekend for Big Ten classics on the Big Ten Network or any live action you need to know about, kind of highlight that. And then Friday, we used to make pigskin picks. We're going to switch over into some basketball picks as well. So I always do a pick 'em on Friday. But we always like to have fun with features like that. So I will have my top 10 Big Ten observations in a minute. We'll see if they match yours from what you saw this weekend. That's next here on Locked On Big Ten. Game Time. Get the Game Time app if you need tickets to anything, whether it be a sporting event, whether it be the national championship for college football, basketball, or concerts, comedy shows, all of that. You remember what it's like when you go to those big games, all the excitement. Be a part of it with Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out all the fluff, so you only get incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You can just check it out. Just browse through these deals. They're fantastic right there. I like how they have a picture from the view of the seat of the ticket you're about to buy, plus the on-time ticket delivery and the lowest price guarantee gives you complete peace of mind. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, we're going to do this now. Our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. I'm going to put them on full screen. In case you're audio only, I'll describe them in detail. But if you're on video, you'll see them. We can kind of feather through them one at a time. And we'll go full screen. So here they are. We're going to start it off. We're going to start with a little basketball shout out over the weekend to Purdue basketball. After all, they had such a rough football season. Let's give them some love during the hoops. Put up 104 this weekend against Nebraska in a Big Ten game. How about that? Getting that dialed in. At number 9, let's give a shout out to the Penn State football season. All right. Got a lot of attention on Ohio State now, moving forward to the national championship. Some secondary attention. We'll go to Big Ten champions, Oregon. Penn State had a good season. All right. You could say it. They had a great season, 13-win season. That is nothing to sneeze at. So congratulations on them. And they took a field goal, took a turnover and a field goal with 7 seconds to go to knock them out of a possible college football championship game appearance. All right, the rest of these, I think these are all Buckeyes moving forward. First of all, I'm going to give a shout out. I didn't talk about this as much earlier, and I should have. Chip Kelly's play calling, I thought, was phenomenal against Texas. Sometimes he gets criticized for not using his weapons enough. He used everybody. And, Jeremiah Smith, just one catch for 3 yards. All right, so if the opponent's going to focus on shutting him down, what are we going to do next? You're going to go to everybody else. You're going to go to Tate. You're going to go to Egbuka. You're going to go to Travion Henderson. You're going to go to Quishon Jenkins. You're going to move the ball around, and everybody got involved. I thought it was a great job by Chip Kelly and his play calling there against Texas on Friday night. Meanwhile, Caleb Downs, got that. A lot of people are going to pay attention to Jack Sawyer and his play, which was the big play of the game. Let's throw some love to Caleb Downs as well for getting that interception at the very end. It's a very good defensive back. Travion Henderson for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Want to put him in? I thought that 75-yard screen that he took to the house was a backbreaker. That was a great play. And like I said earlier, something he is very capable of, and something he's just a guy that Notre Dame better keep their defensive eye on him at all times coming up on Monday. Same for Quishon Jenkins, a couple of touchdowns in that game. They got a nice 1-2 punch out of the backfield. They have all year. It is a strength of this football team. Notre Dame just has Jeremiah Love. Ohio State has both Jenkins and Henderson. Great story with them. Henderson was there already, coming back. Didn't mind that they were bringing in Jenkins, an all SEC running back. Jenkins still came even though Henderson was there. They understand. If you want to be the man, that's fine, but it doesn't hurt to share snaps. It's better for your longevity. It keeps everybody fresh. It's a winning formula. So that was good. That Buckeyes 88-yard drive, I want to put that at number 4. Was 13 plays, took almost 8 minutes to go ahead. That was the one where they went up 21-14. That was a thing of beauty, and that goes back to Chip Kelly and his play calling. So kudos to him on all that. What else do we have here? And then the Buckeyes defensive stand. I mean, like I said, we're all thinking it. Texas down by touchdown late in the fourth quarter on the 1-yard line, first and goal. Are you kidding me? And they stopped them. Not only they stopped them, they pushed them backward. And then finally, Jack Sawyer, going to put him at number 2 with the strip sack, scoop, and score. 83 yards for the touch. And nobody caught him either. He's a big guy. That was play of the year. Legendary status. This is a guy that couldn't go out for some wings and a beverage after the Michigan game. People were mean to him. Not anymore. Legend. And then, of course, just number 1, Ohio State beating Texas. And we have a Big Ten team in the national championship. Was hoping for 2. Was hoping for a Ohio State, Penn State national championship. We came within 7 seconds of that, I guess. Nevertheless, it's the Ohio State Buckeyes. They're in it. They're good to go. Congratulations. These are my top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. Let me know if they match yours. Did I leave something out? Did you see something in hoops, men's or women's, that maybe I should have added in addition to the Purdue shout out there? Anyway, let me know. Let me know what you think. That's what we do every Monday with our top 10 Big Ten observations. All right, we're going to be dialed in all week long on Ohio State and Notre Dame, and we've got an eye out on the transfer portal. Any big news, we've got it here. Locked On Big Ten is your source for daily news, also analysis and opinion. You're going to get that here, and we welcome it from you with all of our comments. There's many ways for you to reach out to us. There's Twitter or X at Talk Big Ten, as you can see. Also, our website, talkbig10.com. But before you go, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe and follow this podcast right now on your latest podcast app and or your favorite podcast app, and you get the latest episode of Locked On Big Ten as soon as it becomes available each and every day. Thanks for checking us out. It was a blast as always for Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman. Talk to you next time. Thanks for joining us.